Hi there, this is Tony, and we're back on the bench. And this evening, we're going to be doing a brief walkthrough service here with this Zebco Model 202 spin cast reel. So this is kind of a staple that Zebco's made for a long time, the Model 202. It's been around for a great number of years. This is an older one, though. It's made in the USA. And we're just going to do these walkthrough steps here of how to take it apart, the cleaning that's involved, the lube points, and the reassembly. So we're going to start here with taking off the handle. I find that just using a nut driver for this works well. This is a 5/16 nut driver. If you got a socket set, like with a 1/4-inch drive socket set, that'll work just fine. So you take the handle off. That's real simple. If you find that your handle is a little on the squeaky side, you can put a little bead of oil in there real quick. Just a basic, simple thing to do. But this top cap comes off. But this is a plastic housing on this reel here, so it's very lightweight, and that has a good side to it, because if you're working the banks and stuff like that, it doesn't weigh a lot, so it's easy to carry around. But the one thing you want to note is that it is plastic, so you don't want to be dropping it or banging it into a tree or a rock or something like that, because these will crack. So it's just one little thing to remember. But inside of this housing, though, you want to clean up any debris, any sand, dirt, things of that sort, get all that out of there. And then we've got our insides here, which is also pretty basic. So we've got a pinion gear and a main gear. And then underneath here we've got our spool. So once again, 5/16 nut here on top. And again, I've already cleaned this reel, and it's been lubed, and so you're not going to see me do a lot of that. I've been trying to do more videos like this just to kind of cut down on time, so that you get the idea of how to do these things and these steps, and then that way. It really saves on a lot of time for the video. So this is one lube point here. So you've got this spring lever here, okay, and you want to do a little point of lube right there. Don't get carried away with it. Don't do grease. Just do a little bit of oil. Make sure that it's real oil, like Real X. Penn Precision oil is good, as long as it's oil that's meant for fishing reels, okay? That's probably the most important part. Don't use automotive oils and things like that. Okay, so now, at this point, we've got a snap ring here in place that holds our spool down in position, and I usually find you can just pry it out with a flat blade screwdriver. But you can also use a pair of needle nose sometimes, but it should come out like that. And just set that off to the side, and then you can pull your spool off like so. And note that you've got these teeth here, okay? And this is your drag system. Literally on this reel, this is your drag system, all these teeth here. And what happens is when you tighten this wheel or move it back and forth, it tightens down this lever here. You can see it right there underneath, and that lever grabs these teeth. And the more you tighten the wheel down, the tighter it'll grab those teeth. That's it for the drag system. Very, very basic. But you want to clean this. You want to make sure that there isn't any grease or gunk or things of that sort caught up underneath. Very, very simple. Okay, so now, at this point, all that's left is our gear assembly, and I'm going to show you what you need to do to take that apart. So you've got this lever here, okay, which needs to roll aside like that. And then your pinion gear is free to come out, okay. Now this reel was actually quite dirty, and it had some really, really old grease on it, so I had spent a lot of time scrubbing this down. But I basically just take a toothbrush to these pieces. I'll put them in a tray here. I'll take some penetrating fluid, like some CRC Power Lube, or you can use whatever you want, WD-40, Seafoam Deep Creep, liquid wrench products are good, but any of those penetrating lubricants that help clean and break down all those deposits and all that gunk, okay, and then scrub them off with a toothbrush. And then at that point, once you have these pieces and parts cleaned up, then you're ready for greasing these gears here. So you got your main gear here, and it's the same deal here. This comes out like so. Once all that's out, and that's basically the whole reel. All right, these pieces don't really come apart. This is riveted in this wheel. Okay, and so are these levers here. So there's nothing more to do there, basically. All right, and so I'll show you and demonstrate real quick here just what I do with this. So, this is all cleaned up. You've taken the toothbrush, you've gotten all the old grease and all the old gunk out, and then I just take some real grease. In this case, it's Penn Precision Grease. It's blue grease. Very good stuff, very affordable. You can get it on Amazon. Usually you can find a small little can of it, like at a lot of the sporting goods stores and places like that. So, but I dab a little bit of that on there, slide that back into position like so, and then same deal with my pinion gear and shaft. Just do a little bit of blue grease. Don't get carried away with it. There's just no need for it. Okay, you just want enough to do the job right. And then you're going to line these pieces back up like so. There's a little hole down in there that you basically need to set this down into, and it'll just kind of sink down there. And then you'll roll your lever back into position like so, and that kind of holds all this together. All right, and that's really all that you need to do underneath. And at this point, you're ready to put your spool back into position. Now, this is the one thing that you need to look out for. I'd say this is probably the most important thing, is when you go to put that spool back in, very important that this lever is pulled upward so that you can push this all the way down. Now, it's a little difficult to see here. I'm going to try to zoom in on this so you can see what we're doing here. Okay, but right now, when you go to turn the spool, it's not doing anything. It's not really doing any clicking, is it? Okay, well, there's a reason for that, and it's because this lever needs to be pulled up, and then you need to push down on that spool. And then at that point, it's grabbing teeth. Okay, so it's important that you do that. It's a very common mistake to just put the spool back and not lift up that lever, and then you start wondering why you don't have any drag control at all, basically. Okay, now you've got your snap ring to put back in place. I actually find that putting it back with a pair of needle nose is quite helpful, usually. Like so, real simple. Okay, and then you're ready to put your top back on your spool, and it can only set in one way. This is a keyed thread here, basically, or bolt, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to snug that up. You don't need to over tighten anything. It's not necessary. Okay, and at that point, you just want to inspect the rest of the reel and just make sure that there isn't any other debris floating around in there or excess grease, stuff like that. Then you can put that back. You put your top cap back on. So as you can see, this is a very simple reel to service. And if you do service a reel like this frequently, it should give you many years of good use. And whether it's this vintage or a different vintage, but of the same model, they're all very similar. So we're just going to try it out here real quick, and there's really not much more to do with it. You can turn this wheel here. I don't have any lines spooled up on this, so I can't really pull it off, but I know that those teeth are grabbing, and that's the only part of the drag mechanism there. So So there you have it. That's the Zebco Model 202, all serviced up and ready to go. So thanks again for watching. This is Tony with Back on the Bench. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.